Jake Morrison stared at the screen in front of him. The distress signal blinked red against the dark background of space. His small ship, the Second Chance, had picked up the signal while they were heading home from another failed job. "Captain, you seeing this?" Lisa's voice came through the speaker. She was his pilot, and she sounded worried. Jake leaned forward in his chair. "Yeah, I see it. What do you think?" Danny appeared in the doorway. The engineer wiped grease from his hands with an old rag. "That's a big ship out there. Or what's left of one. It's got imperial markings," Lisa said. "Valthier Empire." "We should stay away from this, Jake." Jake knew she was right. Getting involved with the Empire was dangerous. The Valther were one of the most powerful races in the galaxy. They looked down on humans. They thought Earth people were too young, too stupid, too reckless. But someone out there needed help. "Ben, get your gear," Jake said into the comm. "We're going in." Ben Harper, their security guy, didn't argue. He just said, "On my way." Lisa sighed but turned the ship toward the wreckage. As they got closer, Jake could see how bad it was. The luxury cruiser had been torn apart. Pieces of metal floated in space like broken toys. Scorch marks covered everything. "This just happened," Danny said quietly. "Maybe an hour ago." "Pirates?" Jake asked. "Worse, Krell Syndicate. See those weapon signatures? That's their style. The Krell were slavers and killers. If they attacked an Imperial ship, they were either very brave or very stupid. Maybe both." Jake suited up and went outside with Ben. They floated through the debris, looking for survivors. Most of what they found was bad. Bodies frozen in space. Destroyed equipment. Nothing worth saving. Then Ben's light caught something. "Captain, over here." It was an escape pod. Small, reinforced, and still sealed. Jake's heart beat faster. He checked his scanner. Life signs. Weak. But there, they pulled the pod back to the Second Chance. It took all 4 of them to get it into the cargo bay. The pod was made of some kind of advanced metal that Jake had never seen before. "Stand back," Ben said, raising his weapon. "We don't know what's in there." Jake entered the override code. The pod hissed and opened. White mist poured out. Inside, a figure lay still. She was beautiful. Her skin was pale blue, and her hair was silver and long. She wore clothes that looked expensive, covered in strange symbols. But what caught Jake's attention was the blood. Dark purple blood covered her side. "Is she dead?" Lisa asked. Jake checked for a pulse. He found it, but it was weak. "She's alive." "Barely." Danny pulled out a scanner. His eyes went wide. "Captain, this is bad. She's Valther royalty. Those symbols on her clothes? They mean she's from the high families, maybe even the royal house." Behind her in the pod, 2 bodies lay still. Guards. By the look of them, they had died protecting her. "We need to get her to medical," Jake said. "Now." They carried her carefully to the small medical bay. Jake had just started checking her injuries when alarms blared through the ship. "Krell fighters," Lisa shouted. 3 of them, coming in fast. Jake ran to the bridge. On the screen, he could see the enemy ships. They were small and fast, with weapons hot. "They're coming back to finish the job," Ben said. "Can we fight them?" Jake asked. Ben shook his head. "Not 3 of them. We'd last maybe 2 minutes. Then we run. Lisa, get us out of here." Lisa's hands moved over the controls. The Second Chance turned and accelerated. But the Krell were faster. "They're firing!" Danny yelled. The ship shook as energy blasts hit the shields. Red lights flashed on the control panel. "Shields at 60%, Lisa said. "We can't take much more." Jake thought fast. Ahead of them was an asteroid field. It was dangerous, full of spinning rocks and debris. But it was also their only chance. "Head for the asteroids," he said. "Are you crazy?" Lisa stared at him. "Do it. Trust me." Lisa gritted her teeth and turned the ship. They plunged into the field. Rocks flew past them on all sides. Lisa dodged left, then right, her hands moving like lightning. The Krell followed. But they weren't used to flying like this. Humans learned to fly in Earth's messy, crowded space. They were good at flying in chaos. "Danny, can you give me any more speed?" Jake asked. "I can give you more speed or I can give you shields. Not both. Speed. Now." The ship jumped forward. Jake grabbed a piece of debris with the ship's tractor beam and flung it backward. It hit one of the Krell fighters, sending it spinning into an asteroid. "Two left," Ben said. Lisa flew between two massive rocks, so close that Jake could see the ice on their surface. One Krell tried to follow. He didn't make it. His ship clipped the asteroid and exploded in a ball of fire. "One more," Jake said, but the last Krell was smart. He stayed back, firing from a distance. Another blast hit the ship, shields down to 20%. Danny called out. Jake saw a cloud of small rocks ahead. "Lisa, when I say go, kill the engines." "What?" "Just do it. 3, 2, 1, go." Lisa cut the engines. The ship went dark and drifted into the cloud of rocks. The Krell lost sight of them in the debris. "Stay quiet," Jake whispered, like the Krell could hear him. "Stay very quiet." They floated in silence for 5 long minutes. Finally, the Krell fighter turned and flew away. Everyone let out a breath they didn't know they were holding. "That was too close," Ben said. "Yeah," Jake agreed. "Danny, how's the ship?" "Beaten up, but alive." "Like us." "I can get us to the neutral station, but it'll take some work." Jake nodded and went back to check on their passenger. She was still unconscious, still bleeding. He didn't know why he'd risked everything to save her. He didn't know what would happen next. All he knew was that someone needed help, and he couldn't leave them to die. That was just the human way. "Set course for Haven Station," he said. "And hope we can save her life before she wakes up and asks questions we can't answer." The second chance limped through space, carrying a princess that might change everything. The second chance docked at Haven Station 6 hours later. The station was old and rusty, floating in neutral space where no government had control. It was the kind of place where people didn't ask questions. That made it perfect for Jake and his crew. Danny had kept the engines running through sheer will and duct tape. Lisa had flown them in on manual control because half the automated systems were fried. Ben had watched their passenger the whole time, his weapon ready, just in case. The woman hadn't woken up. Her breathing was getting worse. "We need a doctor," Jake said. "Fast." "I know someone," Lisa replied. "Alan Foster. He's a xenobiologist, works in the lower levels." They found Alan in his cluttered lab. He was a thin man with gray hair and tired eyes. When he saw their patient, those eyes went wide. "Is that who I think it is?" Alan asked. "Probably," Jake said. "Can you help her or not?" Alan ran his scanner over her body. His face went pale. "She's been poisoned. This is a Valthyr royal toxin. Very rare. Very deadly. Can you cure it?" "Maybe. If I had the right equipment. If I had time." Alan looked at Jake. "You have 48 hours. After that, nothing can save her." Jake felt his stomach drop. "What do you need?" "Things I don't have. Things I can't get." "The antidote requires Valthyr medical technology that doesn't exist outside their empire." "There has to be another way," Ben said. Alan shook his head. Then he stopped. "Wait. There might be something. It's crazy, but it might work." "I like crazy," Jake said. "Tell me." "Human dialysis. We use it to clean blood. If we modify it, combine it with some Valthyr cellular techniques, we might be able to filter the poison out of her system." Danny stepped forward. "What kind of modifications?" "Major ones. You'd need to connect systems that were never meant to work together. The power requirements alone would be insane." Danny smiled. "I can make it work." They spent the next 12 hours building a machine that shouldn't exist. Danny pulled parts from the ship. Alan pulled parts from his lab. They welded, wired, and programmed until their hands were shaking from exhaustion. This is either going to save her or kill her, Alan said when they were done. Then let's hope it saves her, Jake replied. They hooked her up to the machine. At first, nothing happened. Then her body began to shake. Alarms went off. Her heart's failing, Alan shouted. Increase the power, Jake said. That could fry her nervous system. Do it anyway. Danny pushed the power higher. The machine hummed louder. The woman's body arched off the table. Then, slowly, her vitals began to stabilize. It's working, Alan whispered. I can't believe it, but it's working. They kept her on the machine for 36 hours. Jake didn't sleep. He stayed in the medical bay, watching her breathe, watching the monitors, making sure nothing went wrong. When her eyes finally opened, they were the color of liquid gold. She looked around in confusion, then fear. Her hand moved toward where a weapon should be. Easy, Jake said, holding up his hands. You're safe. You're on my ship. She stared at him. You're human. Yeah, name's Jake Morrison. You were dying. We saved you. Where are my guards? Jake looked down. I'm sorry. They didn't make it. Pain crossed her face. Then she hid it behind a mask of cold royal dignity. I am Princess Zyra of House Valther. You will return me to my people immediately. We're working on it, Jake said. But first, you need to recover. I don't have time to recover. My empire needs me. Your empire will have to wait. You were poisoned. You almost died. If you move too fast, you'll finish what the poison started. She looked like she wanted to argue. Then she winced and touched her side. What happened to me? Jake told her everything. The destroyed ship. The Krell attack. The escape through the asteroids. The makeshift treatment that saved her life. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. Why did you help me? Because you needed help. That's all? You expect no reward? Jake shrugged. Didn't really think about it. She looked at him like he was speaking a different language. You risked your ship, your crew, your lives. For a stranger. For someone whose people consider yours inferior. And you want nothing? I want you to live, Jake said simply. That's enough. Over the next 2 days, Zyra recovered. She watched the crew work. She saw how they joked with each other. How they helped each other. How they trusted each other even though they weren't family. Your crew is loyal to you, she said to Jake one evening. They're my friends. But you pay them? Of course. Then they work for money, not loyalty. Jake laughed. No. They work with me because they want to. The money is just how we survive. The loyalty is real. Zyra couldn't understand this. In her world, loyalty came from blood or duty, not from choice. Jake brought her food one night, human food. She looked at it suspiciously. It won't kill you, he said. Probably. She tried a small bite, then another. This is good. What is it? Just soup, and that's coffee. Careful. It's hot. She sipped the coffee and made a face. Then she tried it again. It's bitter, but interesting. They talked for hours. She told him about growing up in the palace, about the weight of duty, about how everyone wanted something from her. He told her about Earth, about the stars, about choosing to explore instead of staying safe. You chose this life? She asked. You could have stayed on your planet? Yeah. But there's a whole galaxy out here. I wanted to see it, even though it's dangerous, especially because it's dangerous. That's what makes it worth doing. She smiled. It was the first real smile he'd seen from her. You're very strange, Jake Morrison. I get that a lot. On the third day, Lisa burst into the medical bay. We have a problem. The Krell found us. Jake jumped up. How? Don't know, but they're here. 3 ships, and they're demanding we hand over the princess. Zyra stood up, despite Alan's protests. I won't let you die for me. Give me to them. Not happening, Jake said. They'll destroy your ship. They'll try. Ben, get the weapons online. Danny, I need the engines working. Plot us a course out of here. Where? Lisa asked. Valther space. It's time to take the princess home. The station administrator appeared on their screen. He was a nervous man named Harry Webb. Morrison. The Krell are threatening to attack the station if we don't give them access to your ship. Tell them no, Jake said. I can't do that. They'll kill everyone here. No, they won't. They want the princess. Once we're gone, they'll follow us. You'll be safe. Before Harry could respond, another voice came over the station's general frequency. It was old and rough, but strong. This is Kyle Brooks, retired Earth Marine. Any human on this station who wants to help Captain Morrison, meet me at Dock 7. We're not letting the Krell push us around. Jake felt a warmth in his chest. He'd never met Kyle Brooks. But the man was willing to fight for him anyway. You see, he said to Zyra. That's humanity. We help each other. Even strangers. More voices joined in. A trader named Sophie Martinez offered fake transponder codes. A mechanic named Pete Davis brought extra ammunition. A dozen humans showed up at the dock, ready to help them escape. I don't understand, Zyra said quietly. Why would they risk their lives for you? You can't pay them. I don't need to pay them. We're human. It's what we do. The escape was chaos. Kyle and his volunteers held the Krell at the dock, while the Second Chance prepared to launch. Danny had the engines running on hope and prayer. Ben fired the weapons to cover their escape. Lisa flew like a demon, dodging fire and debris. The ship shook and groaned. Alarms screamed. But they made it to the hyperspace point. Just as they were about to jump, a Krell blast hit their port side. Jake was thrown against a wall. He felt something break in his chest. Pain shot through him. Jump now, he yelled. The stars stretched, and they were gone, flying through hyperspace toward Vilethir territory. Jake tried to stand, but his legs gave out. Zyra caught him before he hit the floor. Her golden eyes were wide with worry. You're hurt. I'm fine. You're not fine. Sit down. She helped him to a chair and examined his chest. Her hands were gentle but sure. She'd been trained in basic medicine, he realized. Royal training, 2 broken ribs, she said, and a concussion. You need to rest. Later. We're not safe yet. Jake Morrison, you saved my life. Now let me save yours. Rest. He was too tired to argue. As his eyes closed, he heard her voice. Soft and close. Thank you. For everything. For expecting nothing. He wanted to tell her that he got something. He got to meet her. He got to see her smile. He got to know that doing the right thing still mattered. But sleep took him before he could find the words. Jake woke up with his ribs wrapped and his head pounding. Zyra sat in a chair next to him, reading something on a datapad. She looked up when she heard him move. How long was I out? He asked. 18 hours. We had to drop out of hyperspace for repairs. We're at a human colony called Haven's Point. Jake sat up slowly. Is the ship okay? Danny says it'll fly. Barely. We need parts he can't fix with hope and duct tape, whatever that is. Jake smiled, despite the pain. It's a human thing. Where are we exactly? A frontier world. Very far from Earth. Very far from everywhere, actually. Good. The Krell won't expect us to stop at a human colony. He found the others on the bridge. Lisa was running diagnostics. Danny was covered in even more grease than usual. Ben was cleaning his weapons. Welcome back to the living, Lisa said. How do you feel? Like I got hit by a Krell blast. That's because you did, Ben said. You should be resting. I've been resting. What's our status? Danny wiped his hands. We need new power couplings and a full shield generator. The colony has the parts, but they're not cheap. How not cheap? All the money we have not cheap, Jake sighed. They'd saved a princess and now they were broke. That seemed about right for his luck. Do it, he said. We need to get Zyra home. While the repairs happened, Jake took Zyra into the colony. She'd been stuck on ships and stations her whole life. He wanted her to see what humans built when they had room to breathe. Haven's Point was small but growing. About 10,000 people lived there. along with a few hundred aliens who liked human company. The buildings were a mix of prefab modules and local stone. Nothing fancy, nothing like the imperial palaces Zyra was used to, but it was alive. People walked the streets, talking and laughing. Kids ran past them, playing some kind of game with a ball. Shops sold everything, from tools to food to books. Music played from an open doorway. "It's so chaotic," Zyra said. "That's the point. No one tells anyone what to do here. People just live." They passed a market where vendors sold their goods. A human woman was arguing with a four-armed alien about the price of vegetables. They were both smiling while they argued. "She's not afraid of him," Zyra observed. "Why would she be? He's just a customer. He's twice her size and much stronger. So, strength doesn't make you right. Besides, she's got a stun gun under that counter. I guarantee it." Zyra laughed. Actually laughed. The sound made Jake's heart do something strange. They sat down at an outdoor cafe. Jake ordered coffee for both of them. Zyra had developed a taste for it, though she still made a face at the first sip. "Can I ask you something?" Jake said. "Of course. That poison, the one that almost killed you. Danny said it was made specifically for Valthyr royalty. That's not something pirates would have." Zyra's face went still. She looked down at her cup. "No, it's not. So who did this?" She was quiet for a long moment. Then she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small data chip. "I wasn't supposed to survive long enough to use this. But since I did, you should know the truth." She plugged the chip into Jake's datapad. Images appeared. Videos. Messages. All of them showed one man. A Valthyr noble with cold eyes and a cruel smile. "That's my uncle, Lord Theron. He's second in line to the throne, after my older brother. But my brother is sick, dying. The healers say he has maybe a year, which would make you next in line," Jake said. "Yes, unless I die first. Then Theron becomes emperor. So he tried to kill you. He did more than try. He allied with the Krell. He gave them imperial codes. He told them when my ship would be traveling and where. He planned everything." Jake felt anger rising in his chest. "Your own uncle tried to murder you for power. It's not uncommon in imperial families. But the alliance with the Krell? That's different. That's treason. If this information reaches the council, Theron will be executed." "Good." Zyra looked at him. "You say that so easily, like justice is simple. It is simple. He tried to kill you. He got people killed. Your guards died protecting you. He should pay for that. In my world, nothing is that simple. There are alliances to consider. Political consequences. Family honor. Forget family honor. He doesn't deserve it." She smiled sadly. "You're very black and white, Jake Morrison. Right and wrong with no gray in between. Maybe. But I sleep better that way." A celebration was happening in the colony that night. The Founding Day, they called it. The day the first settlers landed on Havens Point 20 years ago. Everyone was invited. Jake wanted to return to the ship, but Lisa insisted they go. "The repairs will take all night anyway, and Zyra needs to see this." So they went. The town square was filled with lights and music. People danced and ate and told stories. Children ran everywhere, laughing. Old people sat and watched with happy eyes. Zyra stood at the edge, watching everything. She seemed overwhelmed. "In the Empire, we have ceremonies," she said. "Very formal, very precise. Everyone knows their place and their role. This is different. This is messy," Jake agreed. "But it's real. No one's pretending. No one's performing. They're just happy." A little girl ran up to them. She couldn't have been more than 6. "Are you a princess?" she asked Zyra, staring at her blue skin and silver hair. "I am," Zyra said. "Cool. Do you have a crown?" I do, but I left it at home." "That's okay. You're still pretty." The girl ran off to join her friends. Zyra looked like she might cry. She wasn't afraid of me. Why would she be afraid? I'm alien. I'm different. So? Different is normal here. Look around. Zyra looked. She saw humans dancing with aliens. She saw old and young together. She saw rich and poor sharing food. She saw a community that didn't care about species, or status, or power. They just cared about each other. This is what humanity is, she said quietly. This is why you're different from everyone else in the galaxy. In the Naver, we're not perfect, Jake said. We fight. We disagree. We make mistakes. But we try. We keep trying to be better. My people stopped trying a long time ago. We achieved perfection, or so we believe. We stopped changing. Stopped growing. That sounds boring. She laughed again. That sound was becoming Jake's favorite thing. It is boring. It's very, very boring. They talked late into the night. Zyra told Jake about the loneliness of palace life. How everyone wanted something from her. How she couldn't trust anyone. How exhausting it was to always be perfect. Jake told her about his dreams. About wanting to explore the galaxy. About believing that humans had something to offer the stars. Even if other species didn't think so. You do have something to offer, Zyra said. You have hope. Real hope. Not the kind written in speeches. The kind that makes you risk everything to save a stranger. They were sitting on a bench now, under the stars. 2 moons hung in the sky above them. Music played softly in the distance. What will you do? Jake asked. When you get home. Expose my uncle. Stop his coup. Try to prevent a civil war that would kill millions. She sighed. The usual princess stuff. Need any help? She turned to look at him. Their faces were close. You've done enough, Jake Morrison. You saved my life. You asked for nothing. You gave me something I'd forgotten existed. What's that? A reason to believe the galaxy can be better than it is. The moment stretched between them. Jake thought about kissing her. He could see in her eyes that she was thinking the same thing. But before either of them could move, Danny's voice crackled over the comm. Captain, we've got a problem. Big problem. Jake and Zyra ran back to the ship. When they arrived, they found the crew gathered around the scanner display. Ben pointed at the screen. Krell. 20 of them. They just entered the system. How did they find us? Lisa asked. The uncle, Zyra said. He must have told them about human colonies near the border. They're checking them all. We can't fight 20 ships, Ben said. We won't, Jake replied. We'll do what humans do best. We'll improvise. But before he could explain, the colony's mayor appeared on screen. Greg Patterson was a big man with a gray beard. Morrison. We've got incoming hostiles. My people are scared. Get everyone to shelters, Jake said. We'll lead the Krell away. No. Greg's voice was firm. We heard what you did. You saved the princess. You stood up to the Krell. Now it's our turn. This isn't your fight. Like hell it isn't. They come to our world, threaten our people. We don't run from bullies. Within minutes, the colony was mobilizing. Civilians grabbed hunting rifles. Miners brought heavy equipment. Even the farmers showed up with old military weapons they'd kept from previous lives. They'll get slaughtered, Zyra said. Maybe, Jake admitted. Or maybe they'll surprise everyone. Humans are good at that. The Krell landed in force. But they didn't expect resistance. They expected an easy target. They got a war instead. The colonists fought like demons. They used the terrain. They set traps. They hit and ran and hit again. Jake and his crew joined the fight, using the second chance to provide air support. It wasn't pretty. People got hurt. Buildings got destroyed. But the humans didn't break. They didn't surrender. And they won. When the last Krell ship limped away, the colonists cheered. They defended their home, together. Zyra stood in the middle of the celebration, covered in dust, watching humans help each other. Watching them laugh despite their injuries. Watching them rebuild before they'd even finished fighting. I understand now, she said to Jake. I understand why you're going to inherit the galaxy. What do you mean? Every other species fights for land or resources or glory. You fight for each other. That's why you'll win. In the end, you'll always win. Jake didn't know what to say to that, so he just smiled and helped clean up the mess. The second chance left Havens Point 3 days later. The colony had helped them repair the ship. No one asked for payment. Greg Patterson just shook Jake's hand and said, "You stood with us. We stand with you." 8. Now they were flying toward Valthyr space. The journey would take another week, even at full speed. The ship was quiet. Everyone was thinking about what came next. Jake found Zyra in the observation deck. She was staring out at the stars, her reflection ghostly in the glass. "Can't sleep?" he asked. "Too much on my mind." She didn't turn around. "In a few days, I'll be home. Back to being a princess. Back to duties and politics, and all the things I'm supposed to be." You say that like it's a bad thing. It's just different. Here, on your ship, I'm just Zyra. Not Princess Zyra. Not third in line to the throne. Just me. Jake came to stand beside her. "You'll always be just Zyra to me." She smiled at that. "Will I see you again? After we reach the capital? I don't know. Probably not. I'm just a salvager. You're royalty. We live in different worlds. That's not fair." "Maybe not, but it's true." They stood in silence for a while, watching the stars slide past. Finally, Zyra spoke again. "Can I tell you something? Something I've never told anyone?" "Of course. I hate being a princess sometimes. I hate the rules, the expectations, the way everyone watches everything I do. I hate that I can't trust anyone, because everyone wants something. Even your family, especially my family. My uncle tried to kill me. My brother is dying and all he cares about is who takes the throne after him. My mother, the Empress, she loves me. But she loves the Empire more. She'd sacrifice me in a heartbeat if it meant stability. That's terrible. That's royalty." Zyra turned to face him. "But you, Jake Morrison, you wanted nothing from me. You risked your life and didn't ask for a reward. Do you know how rare that is? How precious?" Jake felt his face grow warm. "I just did what was right." "No. You did what was human. And that's different from what's right in the rest of the galaxy. That's why I'll never forget you." The moment hung between them again. This time, nothing interrupted. Jake leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. Their lips met, gentle and uncertain and perfect. When they pulled apart, Zyra was smiling. "I've wanted to do that since Havens Point." "Me too. This is complicated. Everything good is complicated." They spent more time together over the next few days. Jake showed her how to play poker. She was terrible at it, but she laughed the whole time. She taught him some of her language. He was terrible at it, but he tried. Lisa noticed. Of course, she noticed. She pulled Jake aside one morning. "You know this can't work, right?" she said. "I know. She's a princess. You're a salvager. She lives in a palace. You live on a ship." "I know, Lisa. But you're falling for her anyway." Jake didn't answer. "He didn't need to." Lisa sighed. "Just be careful, okay? I don't want to see you get hurt." Too late for that. Danny was more direct. He cornered Jake in the engine room. "Captain, what's the plan?" "What do you mean?" "With the princess. What happens when we get to Valthyr space? We drop her off. She goes back to her life. We go back to ours. That's it?" "That's it." Danny shook his head. "You're a terrible liar, Captain. But okay. I'll pretend I believe you." Even Ben had something to say. He found Jake on the bridge late one night. "She's good for you," he said simply. "Yeah. Don't let her go without fighting for her." "It's not that simple, Ben. It never is. But some things are worth the complication." 3 days from the Valthyr border, everything changed. They picked up a transmission. It was encrypted, but Zyra had the codes to break it. What they heard made her face go pale. "My brother is dead," she said. "He died 2 days ago." And Theron has declared himself emperor. Can he do that? Jake asked. He can if no one stops him. He's convinced the council that I died in the Krell attack. He's already taken the throne. Hey Krell. Then we need to get you home. Now. It won't matter. By the time we arrive, he'll be too powerful. He'll have the military on his side. The council will support him because they fear chaos more than they fear a tyrant. So what do? Zyra thought for a long moment. We send a message. We broadcast proof that I'm alive, and we broadcast the evidence of Theron's treason at the same time. Won't that tip him off that you're coming? Yes. But it will also force the council to act. They can't ignore proof of treason against the Empire. They crafted the message carefully. Zyra appeared on camera, speaking in her formal royal voice. She announced her survival, she mourned her brother, and she presented the evidence against Theron. Lord Theron allied with the Krell Syndicate, she said. He provided them with Imperial codes. He orchestrated the attack on my ship. He committed treason against the Valthar Empire. I am returning to claim my rightful place and to bring him to justice. They broadcasted on every channel. Imperial frequencies, public networks, even the news stations picked it up. Within hours, the galaxy knew. Princess Zyra was alive, and she was coming home, but Theron wasn't going to let her arrive peacefully. 2 days from the border, they picked up ships on their scanners. Lots of ships. Those are Imperial warships, Lisa said. At least a dozen. Can we outrun them? Jake asked. Not a chance. They're faster and stronger than us. Zyra stood up. This is it. He's going to kill me before I can reach the capital. Not if I can help it, Jake said. Ben, charge weapons. Danny, I need everything you can give me. Lisa. Find us a path through them. Jake, we can't fight Imperial warships, Lisa said. We're not going to fight them. We're going to outsmart them. As the Imperial ships closed in, Jake opened a channel. Imperial vessels, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the Second Chance. We're carrying Princess Zyra. Stand down, the response came quickly. Morrison, you are ordered to surrender the princess immediately. By order of Emperor Theron. Theron isn't the Emperor. He's a traitor. And we have proof. Surrender or be destroyed. Jake looked at Zyra. Your people? They're following orders. They don't know the truth yet. Then let's show them. Zyra opened a channel to the fleet. Her voice was cold and commanding. This is Princess Zyra of House Valthar. I order you to stand down. Theron is a traitor who allied with the Krell. I am returning home to claim the throne. Any who oppose me oppose the Empire itself. For a moment, nothing happened. Then one of the ships broke formation. Then another. Then 3 more. Princess Zyra, a new voice said. This is Admiral Kane. Half the fleet stands with you, but the others are loyal to Theron. Then we have a problem, Zyra said. The Imperial fleet split in 2. 6 ships aligned with Zyra. 6 ships remained loyal to Theron. Both sides powered up their weapons. This is going to be a bloodbath, Ben said. Jake had an idea. A crazy, stupid, very human idea. Admiral Kane. How loyal are Theron's supporters? They're following orders. Most of them don't know the truth. Then let's tell them. Zyra, send them everything. Every bit of evidence. Every message. Every video. Flood their systems with it. They'll just delete it, Zyra said. Not if it goes to every crew member. Not if it goes to everyone at once. We bypass the commanders and go straight to the people. Danny grinned. I can do that. Give me 5 minutes. He worked fast, his fingers flying over the controls. Then he hit send. The evidence flooded every ship in the fleet. Every screen. Every data pad. Every system. The crews saw everything. They saw Theron's messages to the Krell. They saw him planning the assassination. They saw the proof of his treason. One by one, Theron's ships powered down their weapons. One by one, their commanders contacted Zyra and swore loyalty. Within an hour, the entire fleet stood with the princess. Admiral Kane's face appeared on screen. He was an old Valther with scars and gray in his hair. "Princess, the fleet is yours. We will escort you home." Zyra looked like she might cry. "Thank you, Admiral. Don't thank me. Thank the human." That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And it worked. The journey to the capital took 2 more days. The fleet surrounded the Second Chance like an honor guard. Jake had never seen anything like it. Massive warships flying in perfect formation, all protecting his tiny salvage vessel. "This is surreal," Lisa said. "This is humanity," Zyra replied. "You take an impossible situation and find a way through it." Every time. On the last night before they reached the capital, Jake and Zyra sat together in the observation deck one final time. "Tomorrow, everything changes," she said. "I know. I'll have to be the princess again. The heir to the throne. I'll have responsibilities. Duties. I know. I'll probably never see you again." Jake took her hand. "Then let's make tonight count." They talked until the stars began to fade. They talked about everything and nothing. They talked about what could have been, if they'd been different people in a different life. When morning came, the capital world appeared ahead of them. A massive planet of silver cities and blue oceans. The heart of the Valthyr Empire. "It's beautiful," Jake said. "It's home," Zyra replied. "And I'm not ready to go back." "You'll be great. You'll be the best empress they've ever had." "How do you know?" "Because you've seen what the galaxy can be. You've seen humans. You've seen hope. And you won't forget it." The fleet entered orbit. The Second Chance prepared to land. And Jake prepared to say goodbye to someone he'd never expected to meet and never wanted to lose. The Imperial Palace made Jake feel very small. It stretched across the horizon, all silver towers and golden domes. Guards in ceremonial armor lined the halls. Everything was perfect, polished, and cold. The Second Chance landed in the royal hangar. Jake and his crew stepped out to find hundreds of Imperial soldiers waiting. For a moment, Jake thought they were in trouble. Then they all saluted. "Captain Morrison," the commander said, "the Empress requests your presence." "Just me?" "All of you. The entire crew." They walked through halls of marble and crystal. Everything gleamed. Everything was silent. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "I don't belong here," Lisa whispered. "None of us do," Jake whispered back. "Just smile and try not to break anything." The throne room was massive. The ceiling disappeared into shadows high above. Columns lined the walls. And at the far end, on a throne of silver, sat Empress Vara. She looked like an older version of Zyra, same blue skin, same golden eyes, but harder, colder, more distant. Zyra stood beside the throne, wearing full royal robes. She looked like a different person. Not the woman who'd laughed at bad jokes and learned to play poker. This was Princess Zyra, heir to the Empire. "Captain Morrison," the Empress said. Her voice echoed in the vast space. "You have done the Empire a great service. You saved my daughter's life when others failed. You exposed treason at the highest levels. You prevented a civil war. I just did what was right. Your Majesty." "Just," the Empress smiled slightly. "Humans and their sense of justice. So simple, so direct." She gestured, and guards brought forward a large chest. "This is the traditional reward. Platinum credits. Enough to buy a fleet of ships. Enough to make you wealthy beyond measure." Jake looked at the chest. It was more money than he'd ever seen. More money than he'd ever dreamed of having. His crew's eyes were wide. "There's also a full pardon for any questionable activities in your past," the Empress continued. "No government in the galaxy will question you. You'll have diplomatic immunity." "That's very generous," Jake said. "It's what you've earned." Jake looked at Zyra. She was staring at the floor. Something was wrong. "Thank you, Your Majesty. We accept." The Empress nodded. "Then you're dismissed. My staff will transfer the credits to your account." That was it. No ceremony. No speeches. Just take the money and go. Jake started to turn away. Then he heard Zyra's voice. "Mother, I invoke the right of sanctuary bond." The entire room went silent. The Empress's eyes widened. "Zyra, you don't need to do that." "I do. It's my right." "What's the right of sanctuary bond?" Jake whispered to Lisa. An old advisor stepped forward. "It's an ancient law, Captain. When someone saves a member of the royal family and asks for nothing in return, they demonstrate the highest virtue. The rescued royal can declare a life bond with their rescuer." "What does that mean?" "It means," Zyra said, stepping down from the platform, "that I owe you more than credits. I owe you a debt that can never be repaid with money." She walked toward him. The entire court watched in silence. "Jake Morrison, you saved my life. You expected nothing. You asked for nothing. You risked everything for a stranger. In all my years, I've never met anyone like you. I've never met anyone who showed me what the galaxy could be instead of what it is. Zyra, you don't have to do this. I know. That's why I want to." She turned to face the court. "I propose a formal alliance between humanity and the Valthyr Empire. Full diplomatic relations, technology sharing, trade agreements, military cooperation." The court erupted. Advisors started arguing. Nobles shouted objections. The noise was deafening. The Empress raised her hand and silence fell. "This is unprecedented. So is everything else about this situation," Zyra said. "Humanity saved my life. Humanity exposed the treason. Humanity showed me that the galaxy doesn't have to be divided into old species and new species. Strong and weak, we can be partners." "They're primitives," an advisor said. "They've been in space for barely 2 centuries. And in that time, they've accomplished more than we have in the last 1,000 years. Zyra shot back. "They innovate. They adapt. They help each other, without calculating the cost. Those aren't primitive traits. Those are the traits we've forgotten." "The Council will never approve this," another noble said. "Then I'll convince them." "But this is happening." The Empress studied her daughter for a long moment. Then she looked at Jake. "Captain Morrison, what do you think of this proposal?" Jake's mind was reeling. An alliance with the Valthyr Empire? That would change everything for humanity. Access to their technology could advance Earth by centuries. Their military support could protect human colonies. Their trade could make Earth wealthy. But there was more to it than that. He looked at Zyra. She was watching him with hope in her golden eyes. "I'm just a salvager," he said. "I can't speak for all of humanity." "But you can speak for yourself," Zyra said. "Jake, I'm also offering you a position. Cultural ambassador. You would help bridge our 2 civilizations. You would show my people what humans are really like. And you would show your people that the Valthyr aren't all cold and distant." "Zyra, I know it's a lot. I know you have your ship and your crew and your life. But I'm asking anyway, because I believe in this. Because I believe in you. Because I don't want to say goodbye." The last part was quieter, just for him. Jake turned to his crew. Lisa was smiling. Danny was nodding. Ben just said, "Do it, Captain." "What about you guys?" Jake asked. "We go where you go," Lisa said. "Always. Besides," Danny added, "being part of the first human diplomatic mission to the Valthyr Empire sounds way better than salvage runs. And the pay is probably better," Ben said. Jake turned back to Zyra. "I have conditions." "Name them." "I keep my ship. The second chance stays mine." "Agreed." "My crew comes with me. They're part of this." "Agreed. And we do this as equals. Not humans serving the Empire. Partners working together." Zyra smiled. "Agreed." Jake took a deep breath. "Then I accept." The court erupted again, this time with shock instead of anger. The Empress stood up from her throne. "Very well. Let it be recorded that on this day, the Valthyr Empire and humanity have formed a formal alliance. Captain Jake Morrison is named as the first human ambassador to the Valthyr court. His crew will serve as his staff." She looked at Jake. Don't make me regret this, Captain. I'll do my best, Your Majesty. The next few hours were chaos. Advisors wanted meetings. Nobles wanted introductions. News services wanted interviews. Jake's head was spinning. Finally, Zyra pulled him away to a quiet balcony. The capital city spread out below them, glowing in the evening light. In the distance, Jake could see the stars. Earth was out there somewhere. Home, are you okay? Zyra asked. I think so. Still processing. I know I dropped a lot on you. If you want to change your mind, I don't. Jake turned to face her. This is terrifying and exciting and completely insane. But it's also right. I can feel it. Good. Because I wasn't sure what I'd do if you said no. They stood close together. The balcony was private. No guards. No advisors. Just them. Can I ask you something? Jake said. Anything. Is this just about the alliance? About politics and diplomacy? Zyra smiled. You mean, did I do all of this just to keep you around? Yeah, that. Partly. The alliance is important. It's the right thing for both our people. But yes, I also did it because I don't want you to leave. Because these past few weeks have been the best of my life. Because you make me laugh and you make me think and you make me believe the galaxy can be better. That's a lot of pressure. You can handle it. Jake kissed her. It was easier this time. More natural. Like something that was always meant to happen. When they pulled apart, Zyra was smiling. So, what do you think? Can a salvager and a princess make this work? I don't know. But I'm willing to try. Good. Because I already told my mother you're staying. If you'd said no, I would have looked very foolish. Jake laughed. You planned this whole thing, didn't you? Maybe. I am a princess. We're good at planning. No. They stood together, watching the city lights come on. In the hangar below, the second chance sat next to ships 100 times its size. It looked small and beat up and perfect. What do you think will happen? Zyra asked. With the alliance? I think humans will do what we always do. We'll surprise everyone. We'll make mistakes and learn from them. We'll try things that shouldn't work and make them work anyway. And change the galaxy in the process? Maybe. If we're lucky. Zyra leaned against him. I'm glad you rescued me, Jake Morrison. I'm glad you had terrible luck with assassins. She laughed. It was the sound he loved most in the galaxy. Over the next few weeks, things moved fast. The alliance was formally announced. Earth's government was shocked, then excited, then overwhelmed. Delegations started arriving. Trade talks began. Scientists compared notes. Military officers planned joint exercises. And through it all, Jake and his crew learned to navigate imperial politics. Lisa became an expert in Vilther protocol. Danny started working with imperial engineers, showing them human techniques for improvisation. Ben trained with imperial guards, teaching them that sometimes the direct approach worked better than the formal one. Jake met with councils and committees. He explained humanity to skeptical nobles. He showed them that humans weren't primitive or reckless. They were adaptable and creative and persistent. Some Vilther understood. Some didn't. But slowly, attitudes began to change. One evening, 6 months after their arrival, Jake stood on the same balcony with Zyra. They'd just come from a successful trade negotiation. The first human Vilther commercial ships would launch next month. You did it, Zyra said. You're actually making this work. We're making this work. Together. My mother is impressed. She won't admit it, but she is. What about you? Are you impressed? I've been impressed since you flew through an asteroid field to save me. Everything since then has just been confirming my good judgment. Jake smiled. You know what's funny? When I picked up that distress signal, I just thought it was another salvage run. Maybe some tech I could sell. I never expected any of this. What did you expect? Nothing. I helped because someone needed help. That's all. And that's why you got everything. Zyra took his hand. The greatest rewards come when you expect nothing. When you act from goodness instead of greed. That's what you taught me. That's what humanity is teaching the galaxy. We're also teaching the galaxy about coffee. Danny's starting a shop in the market district. Zyra laughed. Very human. They looked up at the stars. Earth was visible tonight. A small blue dot in the darkness. Jake's home. The place he'd left to find adventure. He'd found so much more. Ready for tomorrow? Zyra asked. Tomorrow, they'd present the final alliance treaty to the full Imperial Council. It would make the partnership permanent. It would change both civilizations forever. Ready, Jake said. Nervous? Terrified. Good. Me too. You're a princess. You're not supposed to get nervous. I'm also human now. Honorary human. We get nervous. Jake pulled her close. Then I guess we'll be nervous together. As they stood there, looking at the stars, Jake thought about how far he'd come. From a struggling salvager to a cultural ambassador. From expecting nothing to having everything. He'd rescued a princess without wanting a reward, and she'd given him something better than wealth or power or fame. She'd given him a purpose, a partnership, a future, and maybe, if they were very lucky, she'd given humanity a chance to show the galaxy what it could become. That was the real prize, and it was worth more than all the platinum in the Empire.